In this project that I'm working on here at the Tapestry workshop, I'm kind of not physically using, wool or some similar types of materials. But for me, it's been really interesting to see how people work and see how the weavers are working on scale. Because I'm making a large piece, partially here and partially in the studio. And the work actually is a revisiting of an idea that was in my master's show. And that was, I worked out 19 years ago, which was a little bit scary. So these are large printed, relief printed off copper plates, silk organza maps of a scale of 1 to 1. So I'm revisiting the idea of how we map on a scale of 1 to 1. And these are based on an idea of the there's a short story around mapping and type. And so, yes, this is one of the pieces from the master show. They're hand printed, sewn together, and the machine hemmed. So I tried to hand hem, and I thought, that's going to go on the same. So, and then 5 metres by 5 metres, and they're hung at my eye level. So 150, which is very traditional hanging height, but it's actually come through the space. So I'm actually really short. You're a little bit intimidated by one of them.
So when you're saying 1 to 1, what are you doing? What happened in 1 to 1?
So the idea of a map, yes, that you can hold. It might be a scale of 1 to 200. When you're doing something 1 to 1 and you're mapping something, where does the map go in that space? It's an intervention in that space. That is explored. And crazily enough, I made 3 of them. That's what you seem to do when you're doing that. I agree. From this work, I've got a stock of plates which are basically the stripes. And they've been following me. I've been reusing those plates for the last 20 years. They're sometimes with other plates, sometimes very much layered, sometimes sewn in little different interventions. Other times, we'll just use the plates, the kind of plant-based plates. This is quite early. This is just 2007. This is a while ago now. But I started walking around my neighbourhood and thinking about what it was to live in a living hill, and it's a very, very discrete neighbourhood, in that sense that it's very much a neighbourhood. And thinking about the ideas of how this neighbourhood places itself near the river, how it works, and looking at the integral plants. Because pretty much it's has had so much interaction with humans that it's not a natural space. And so I started thinking about these ideas of conservation and naming spaces, and what would that mean in space, and how would you name this space? So, and for me, that's very much thinking through how I use a material, and more physically how I meant something with material. And so I've been working with these ideas for quite a while. And these are very small scale, so 20 by 20 centimetres. There's a series of 8. I work in series, it's just 8. And then I also make larger pieces. this again is reusing some of the stripy plates, some of the weird images, and I started to make measuring devices as well. And thinking about how you could mend something, how you'd measure it, how you'd mend it. And again, some little etchings. I seem to draw in etchings a lot more than I actually draw. So, and those ideas of weaving were so comfortable with this, with the stripes and the lines. And in 2010, I went to the art vault in New York to do an artist residency for a month. And I think that one of the things that really surprised me in that space was the sense of space. Really hot. And the most amazing cloud forms were happening. It was a year of really big flood on the road. And so I spent a lot of time sort of looking up and thinking about what it was to be in a particular position, looking up and sort of a series of cloud studies and thinking about how space works and how you can map space and how you pinpoint space and build space in these works. And this is a Chimpale hand colour. We're using some of the stripes again. And at that time, I was invited into the International Lace Show and I made a lace installation, again using the stripe plates, and thinking about how space and how we map space. So returning to those ideas around measuring and mapping. And this is a large, great imaging. It's a series of large hand-cut, reformatted glaze pieces from paper. And there's probably about 3 by 4 metres, all made in panels, so I can cope with it. If you want that one, so they're sort of dissolving. So working through these ideas, and currently also finishing off my PhD in education, looking at the art school and how studio pedagogies are, how we use the critics studio pedagogies. And a part of that for me was about thinking about how to be a researcher and how do we measure what we're doing in research. And so I had to write a thesis. It's 80,000 to 100,000 words thing. And so I started making these large nets as these to collect ideas, to gather ideas in. They're made of paper. Again, they're reutilising those beautiful striking plates that I've got. I made years ago now. And started thinking about how I worked with the idea of doing this idea of research. What was, what I thought the possibilities of that was. So I started trying to collect all those ideas. And so I've made a series of these nets, some successful and some unsuccessful as nets. In this work, this is the sort of start of the indigo dyeing that I've done a lot of in the last year. And for the orange and and sort of, as I was working on these larger pieces, I've also been making rather a lot of indigo bags. I've got 102 at the moment, and I think there's probably another 50. And these are, as I'm working through some of the ideas on my thesis, I'm thinking about how identity and agency work with students in art school. And many of you have actually been to art school, and sometimes people will fit in art schools and sometimes they won't, and sometimes there'll be this sort of rubbing up against certain governances of an art school. Certain people, certain attitudes, certain ways of making work, certain ideas of what work is. And so I'm really interested in how people work within those spaces and thinking about what it is to actually be able to work in those spaces. And so one of the things that I've been thinking about is what we think is of agency, and rather than having agency to do something, to be able to enact agency. And so I'm thinking, okay, so maybe if I'm enacting this agency, how do I bring it around with me? So I've made mini bags, so I can start bringing it around. And so hopefully these bags as a whole will be exhibited next year. I'm just writing some proposals for this piece of work with USD. And at the moment, some of the bags, about 30 of the bags are appearing in their sculpture show. So we'll see how people react to the idea of them in an entangled mess rather than a single sort of bag. I think it's been an interesting exercise. And that brings me basically to the work I'm doing here, which again is working with those striking plates and thinking through some of the ideas around mapping. This is a mapping of the moons. I'm doing a cycle of moons, developing 29 moons. I think I've got 4 done. But I've got materials to get done, and all the printing's done, and so it's just a matter of actually sitting down and making the work for this project and for another project. But I've actually brought in some work from Tapestry. I think it's always interesting to look at the work and then you wouldn't be able to necessarily touch it in the gallery exhibition. I think an artist talks at the perfect time to touch things and work out how they're made. This is one of the smaller bags. The partner bag of this is actually in the manual show at the moment. So it's a rice paper, it's a Japanese rice paper. They're pigment inks, so they're light safe, relatively, more light safe than watercolour. And there's printing through them. They're pretty strong, but you do need to sort of be gentle with them. So shall I have a play? This is one of the broken bags, and this is some of the first indigo work that I was playing with, and then just thinking through how natural dyes and the acrylic inorganic dyes actually are working together. So would you like to have a play with that one?
Okay.
All the bags are actually human sized, so a human could actually possibly get into them. And then this is a carry bag, and so there's 102 at the moment of those. They're indigo. This one's, I think, a triple dipped indigo. So by that third dipping in the indigo, the paper's getting so fragile that I don't know whether or not it's actually going to go that much further.
So is it dipped before you cut it, or is
I dip
the sheets?
Dip the sheets
and then cut them up.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I say that they remind me of two things? I mean, obviously the string bags that we big market a lot of kids and I don't even know if they sell those anymore.
Yeah.
But also reminds me of a worm, the way
I think
it expands out and obviously would contract right back to this.
and it reacts really interestingly to different weather conditions and whether or not I've folded them up, how I've packaged them. So it's interesting. The big larger net that went to Banyule, I had to reflop it up sort of thing, and I've worked it out that I blow up balloons and put them inside.
Oh, right. That's a gentle way of
Yeah, just to pull them out a little bit. So I'm getting really good at blowing up balloons now.
What's the largest bag that you've made?
It's probably the Bernie the Green bag, even though it looks quite small. It's it's probably it's taller than me. The orange bag that went to Fremantle is wider, but they're all pretty much human size. You know, the idea is that I look at the net and make sure that I can fit into it. I've got some very long, tall ones, which I've made for particular people, but I think that's going to fit you.
So is it going to be a performance at the end?
Possibly, but they're also they're not particularly made to put on and off, but it's the idea that you can. I work with, in my PhD, I work with a lot of human stories. People are telling stories about their experiences, and so how do I think I've gathered the right story? The thing that I actually needed. I've got no idea. So I'm working through those ideas of what's the right thing. They're also fragile, and I like the idea that if you put it on, you'd rip it possibly.
Yeah, can you only do like the indefinite layers? You haven't actually interwoven, have you?
No. I have thought, and I've got some in my studio made out of a heavier paper. This slips when I weave it, and I kind of like the grid in it. The heavier paper, that sits, but then it will react to the environment and slowly sort of deflate itself. So I do some weaving. And I'm really interested in how the paper actually does stand up to the weaving. This also is working with Tim Ingold, who's an anthropologist's idea of mesh work rather than like a net. So for me, they're more about meshes. So mesh work for him are about where things connect where things are overlapping but don't necessarily connect. There's not an interweaving in that sense that it's an entwining, it's a placing over top of each other. And so this is some of the work that I've been doing here. This is one of the mock-ups. Right, so that's just to make sure that what I was thinking was going to work. And then haven't been mounted yet. These ones have been quite traditionally framed and mounted. So it's been an interesting.
They're no longer two-sided?
No, they're going to be one-sided. The large work that I'm making in the panel, that will be more able to work as a two-sided. Got to the point where I need to think about practicalities. I only think about practicalities on the small work, I've decided. How people believe with this work? How do you clean it? That sort of stuff. So it's been very interesting though. Do you like the moon?
Yeah.
Because the moon's actually quite interesting how they feel in the hand.
You've spent like so many days pasting these together. Like, I don't want to break it.
No,
Just watch
4 hours.
So do you shred the paper or do you
It's all cut.
sorry, or
I cut and then I stick it all together, and then I recut it up again to fit.
So is that the same plate, the same?
Yeah, I've got a template on my cutting mat.
Sorry, no, I mean the same print. That
Yes.
You just slice and then.
Yeah, it's all the same print.
Yep.
Um,
Just done differently in different patterns.
yeah, and basically the white ink resists the water-based ink. So I think they're quite interesting how they sit as an object as well. Sometimes sad when I have to stick them down onto the paper.
So it'll be like 29 frames.
Yep.
So did that big one break because it just got too heavy for some of the big bag? Did
No,
that
I just didn't finish it off because I wanted to be I wanted to have something that was incomplete.
So the paper's quite strong.
Yeah.
It carries quite well.
Some of the other bags have got sort of like a temporary sort of bottom on them, like just little loops,
Right,
so that you could possibly cut the loops off and
AUS
show it in different ways.
So the architecture underneath, the engineering component.
Well, and working out how much you can see and how much I want to be seen and all those sorts of fun things.
So they could be framed in perspex and
You could.
and being suspended instead of.
I think though these ones, I'm just going to reveal some of the architecture at the back.
It's good to get linking.
In the front.
Just a little bit.
Megan, do you work on like photography as a part of?
They feel really
Like,
good.
would you
Yes, I photograph everything.
photograph
Yeah.
and then work that back in down the track?
Sometimes I made a whole lot of digital images in the early 2000s, and I've been less inclined to work that way. There's a physicality of making work which I miss when I'm working digitally, and I kind of can't work it out how to.
I don't know, I just kind of think of the cube, follow it incomplete cube, and I think that would be like quite a beautiful thing.
And this work is. This is a large panel work that this is the mock-up for, and I'm working out how folds work and how gathers work in it. And so this will be, in the end, it will be 6 metres wide by sort of another.
Just big.
Yeah,
The weight is going to be significant.
the weight will be significant, and the other thing is that it will be shown with a undulation.
I feel like I've seen this
So
one before.
Yeah, I think it will come around.
it'll actually come around to about 4.5 metres long. Yeah, but I'm trying to get it to come out, and that's my height problem then, of how then which space is going to possibly go into how long it has to be to get the drape and then the gather on the fold.
Yeah.
So.
So no shrinkage with your glue on your paper?
No, doesn't seem
Did
to
you
be.
ever have any if you're trying to put glues?
I have. I use a Japanese rice starch one for when I'm sticking together.
Do you make that yourself?
No, I buy it now.
Did you used to make it yourself?
I have made it myself, and I've also used methyl cellulose, where you make it, you mix it up yourself. So, yeah.
Thank you.
But I use the rice starch glue because it's got a flexibility to it. And then I'll use an archival PVA to actually do the intersection joints. Supposedly you can actually remove that archival PDF if you ever wanted to. I don't think you'd ever want to. Why?